Good morning, everyone. I am back from my week-long ban that I still have no idea what I was banned for, but I'm going to continue to drive on with posting updates. However, these will also go up on YouTube. This is an update for July 20th. I know I've missed a lot of updates in the past week because of my ban, but not really my fault. I wish I knew what caused it, but continue anyways as if nothing happened. So, get on with what's going on. So Gazprom, which is the Russian state-owned gas company for natural gas, has declared a force majeure on gas supplies to Europe to at least one major customer, which is Germany, starting on June 14th. Now, the company has decided to void itself from all contractual obligations. This is adding to the fears that in Europe that Moscow may not restart the Nord Stream 1 pipeline at the end of the maintenance period that's taking place right now as a retaliatory stance for the sanctions that Europe has imposed on Russia over its war in Ukraine. This would continue to heighten the energy crisis and potentially tip the region into a recession, where some experts are saying that the GDP of the entirety of Europe would drop by 1% to 2%. Now, a force majeure is kind of an act of God clause. It's a standard in business contracts that defines extreme circumstances that release a party from their legal obligations. So Gazprom is saying that their war in Ukraine is causing circumstances, or the sanctions plus the war in Ukraine are creating circumstances that are out of its control, so they are released from their legal obligations. I think this is bullshit because Russia started this war in Ukraine, and it is a Russian state-owned gas company, so the powers that be who control Gazprom also control the war, so they can say stop the war, and the sanctions likely would cease to exist, at least the majority of them. So the declaration doesn't necessarily mean that Gazprom will stop deliveries, but that it will be held responsible if it did stop deliveries. So we're still waiting for that repair period to end. Most European nations are expecting that gas deliveries will stop. The EU's executive arm has proposed that member states cut their gas use by 15% until March, warning them that without deep cuts now, they could struggle for fuel in the winter if and when Russia cuts off supply. If Russia does cut off supply, that likely will be when it would be the most painful for Europe to be needing it specifically to keep people warm. Now, Russia's president, Vladimir Putin, said that it is the West's own fault that the flow of Russian natural gas to Europe customers has ebbed, and warned that it could continue to dwindle further. The issue for Germany, though, is they are refusing to relaunch or reactivate its nuclear power plants, arguing that it would not solve Germany's energy needs. Instead, they're looking to relaunch 16 coal and oil-fired power plants. These run on a very dirty version of coal called brown coal. Germany is taking major steps back from its green initiatives to really step forward into or lean into some very dirty environmentally detrimental fuel processes. So many other countries are looking to have to make decisions like this as peaceful nations that provide energy are trying to quickly ramp up its push to give Europe or sell energy to Europe, the United States being one of them. However, the logistics of the United States to ramp up and serve the entirety of Europe just isn't there. It requires ships and pipelines, even though the U.S. makes enough natural gas to give to Europe and sell it to Europe. The problem is ports, ships, pipelines. They're just not there. So there's going to be a bit of a scramble period over the next couple of years, especially if Russia shuts down these plants. I do not know why Olaf Scholz and Germany's ruling party are so against nuclear power. Every chance they get, they tell everyone, no, we're not reactivating nuclear. Nuclear is not an option. But instead, they're going to launch 16 coal and oil-fired power plants. That just blows my mind. It's going to become, at least for the next couple of years, until Germany can figure out how to get more green energy online, which it's a struggle for them because Solar isn't super efficient in Germany because in the wintertime, it's dark, it's cloudy, the weather doesn't cooperate like it does in the summer, and they don't have vast swaths of land that can just catch a lot of wind, such as the Great Plains in the United States. So, not sure what the plan is if nuclear is off the table. Again, I don't know why nuclear would be off the table, but them relaunching those coal and oil-fired plants is just going to cause major setbacks in their green initiatives. And meanwhile, the U.S.'s use of natural gas has actually allowed them to meet green objectives so far, as it may not be considered a green energy, but it is far cleaner by many orders of magnitude than coal and oil-fired plants. So this turned into an energy post, apparently, so I'm going to just cut it off here. I'm going to show you guys a picture of Europe's reliance on Russian energy as when you look at it from the 2020 perspective. Now, this is obviously 2 years old. A lot of this is being retooled in real time. So this image I'll show you kind of shows who is most reliant on Russian energy and who is looking down the barrel of an energy gun essentially right now. So I'll probably post another quick update after this with the rest of the news, but this energy situation within Germany, as the Nord Stream 1 pipeline is shut down due to maintenance, which was scheduled, but there's just concern that it won't be turned on. This is the kind of somewhat the biggest news currently everyone's watching, but I'll do another update talking about everything else. But for now, here was a quick energy update, and this image after that follows my video will show who relies on Russia the most. Have a good day, everyone. It's good to be back. So as you can see here, there are a few countries that heavily rely on Russian energy, specifically the Czech Republic and Germany. Most have taken steps to wean themselves off, but it's not a quick process. So countries in Central Europe that have relied on Russian energy are going to be facing difficult times heading into the winter. I don't think people are going to freeze to death per se, because there's a lot of assistance coming from other countries, specifically the United States, Canada, as well as Middle Eastern nations are starting to ramp up a bit to help out, specifically looking at countries like Saudi Arabia, Algeria, etc. So obviously Hungary, the vested interest in maintaining relationships with Russia. Their leader is not very pro-Russian, but he's one of the more pro-Russian leaders in the EU. But surprisingly, the Czech Republic has taken the best steps, I think, going forward with cutting the reliance on Russian energy. But again, we'll have to see if Nord Stream 1 turns on going forward. Interestingly, Finland can pivot a bit to Norway, who provides a lot of energy as well to Europe. But Russia still, they have a very strong grip on the European Union's need for energy. So we'll see going forward what happens with Nord Stream 1 and how painful this becomes for countries in Europe.